We play and call it work.
Welcome, Wargamers. Josh and Lee back to bring you this week's Sit and Talk, the show where you guys leave us questions and we do our best to answer them.
Or not.
Or sometimes not. That's actually kind of true.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not. So, remember, next week is going to be Quirk's turn to answer some questions. So go ahead and make sure you put, hey Beverly, hey Bevs, DBQ, whatever you want to call him. I think he'll respond to almost anything at this point. Go ahead, throw that in the comment section of this video, not the Vault video. And, yeah.
Isn't it nice to remember actually who's next?
It's very important to remember your coworker who's next.
Yeah.
I think Matt, well, I think he
remembered you.
No, he forgot me, I think, in the regular video, but he remembered me in the Vault one because he had to check. But I completely forgot about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lee and I do this together, so we do our best to, like, even if you direct a question just towards me or just towards Lee, we'll probably both go ahead and answer it.
Yeah. Or not.
Either way. So let's jump right into the questions. I'm going to do it on the iPad this time because I think that might be easier than the paper. Because the paper before was just not working for me. So we're going to start off with Cold Rhythm. I need to make a decision for my date with my lady. I was thinking a 2,500 point game, but is that too much too soon? Should I back it down to just 1850 or maybe even a game or two of Armageddon? I thought about maybe just doing some painting and chill. I'm not usually that kind of guy, but I think it's super important to find out early if she thins her paint or not. Okay.
That's probably the best question we've ever had.
It's an interesting one.
Well,
there's a lot of variables in that, dude. How long has she been your lady for?
Is she a gamer?
Does she realize that she's your lady? Like, is this somebody that you're, I don't know, is this somebody you're in a committed relationship with? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we should need, like, more backstory.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing 40K, 2,500 is kind of heavy. I wouldn't bother with that. 1850 is more fun. But for, I don't know, you can't really answer it because I got no backstory of if she's a gamer, if she has any idea what's going on or anything like that. I think no matter who you're playing with, Shadow War or Armageddon's probably a really nice starting place.
Yeah.
Because it'll teach you some of the basic concepts of the game without getting too overly complicated about it, I guess. So yeah, I'd say Shadow War. Dude, play some Shadow War Armageddon.
Yeah, well, as long as she doesn't get, like, a phone call at 9 o'clock and has to leave, I think you're okay.
That's fair. All right, next we got Big Mikey. See, that's a memorable name for me.
Big Mikey?
Always remember Big Mikey.
Yeah. And you have to say it that way, too.
Big Mikey. You can't say it any other way.
Big Mikey.
Big Mikey. Okay, so Big Mikey. Josh! Good to see the beard is coming back to its former glory. Just wondering how many models did the guys buy at Adepticon simply because they look cool, and what caught your eye as a game you would love to cover? And then we got a question for Lee, if he's freed from the dungeon. How is your painting scheduled? Is there a due date for everything, or is there just a pile on your desk at the start of each day?
Both. You want to start?
You can start.
Okay. Well, it depends on if I'm doing, like, stuff for campaigns. If there's a campaign, like I did a bunch of stuff for the Necron campaign.
Okay, yep.
And basically Matt told me, okay, I need this by this date. So it's free-flowing. And if I don't have anything on my schedule, I just go into my other corner of my office and grab something off the shelf.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, you've got your big pile of stuff that needs done, but you've got a priority pile that is time-sensitive and a pile that's not.
And everything, like, for campaigns, it has veto power, so it just...
Yeah, the campaign stuff, obviously, if we need it by a certain date, there's no way around that.
So, yeah.
Okay. As far as Adepticon stuff, let me think. Okay. I can't speak on the behalf of many other people, because, I mean, our booth is super crowded, so I just kind of wandered around for a good chunk of this Adepticon thing. I know that We did figure out that between myself and then Quirk and Steve, the tastes in games are very different. Like very,
not
very
surprised.
different. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all either by that. So the common ground would be a game like 40K. So from 40K, I like to go into like I like certain skirmishy kind of games, like the Infinity, that kind of stuff. But then I also really like the historical games and that kind of thing. There's some really interesting games out there that I want to try. So the things that caught my eye, I actually scooped up a bunch of Team Yankee for myself. So for those not familiar with Team Yankee, it's 15 millimeter as opposed to 28 mil like Games Workshop stuff. So like my tanks are tiny little tanks, and it's set in 1985. It's based off a novel called Team Yankee, and it's basically if the Cold War kicked off and what it would be like.
It stopped being a Cold War.
It stopped being the Cold War, it was, I don't know, the Hot War.
Yeah.
So
War.
there's no weird war, no wackiness, no, like they haven't dropped any nukes, and there's no mutants, and there's no mad scientists or anything
Nazi
crazy.
zombies.
Yeah, there's none of that stuff. It's just a straight up war game. And then, so I did buy a bunch of that. I bought myself a West German army. So it's a game that I hope to start being able to play every once in a while. Not something that we're covering here, because I don't think there's really the interest for it with this channel.
Yeah, so it's set when there still was a West Germany, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Before the wall came down and all that. I closed the iPad by mistake. So that I'm really interested in that game right now, and I've got some bolt action I got to get around to, and I got some Flames of War that I never painted up. So yeah, I got a real interest in those kind of games. Steve and Quirk really kind of went more towards the Arena Rex or Guild Ball, Wrath of Kings,
No idea.
Dark Age, some of that stuff.
Like
really
the
cool
bigger
models.
scale skirmish type games.
Bigger scale skirmish games.
Yeah.
It's a lot of monopose stuff. I guess it's somewhat similar to Infinity, but different. I don't know how to describe it best.
I mean, it reminded me. I was looking at like the size of the models. It reminds me of Inquisitor.
Okay, yeah, some of those are they
They're
look
like
kind of
way
Inquisitor scale.
bigger.
Yeah. So yeah, a real distinct difference in the taste of games that we're interested in. Like I said, I like my historical stuff. I like my games at least somewhat based more in historical or reality stuff. And a lot of the 40K gives a nod to something historical in some way. I know it's set in the future, but I mean, you've got your you get the Valhallans, they're Russians in space.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So I mean, there's some kind of backing to a lot of their lore and all that other kind of stuff. So I think that might be part of it too, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, is the story and the lore and how developed it is and how I don't know how to best put it. Maybe you guys will be able to do it more eloquently for me. See if you can figure out what kind of games I like. But yeah, right now Team Yankee is probably what I am the most interested in playing, because I love that scale. Because the ranges get somewhat more realistic. It's still not realistic because, I mean, the tanks would have to be a tenth of the size to make sense for the ranges.
Yeah.
But then you lose any kind of detail in the minis. So, I don't know. It's a nice go-between that there's a lot of movement, a lot of open board. Next, we got Rossmore. Hey, Josh, as a dwarf player, have I got that right? I play dwarves like a little bit. Like I like the lore of the dwarves in fantasy more than I like the playstyle.
Yeah.
The playstyle is a little bit boring to me. But yeah, you get that right. I did play dwarves, and I should get back into playing them more often. I took kind of a break from fantasy because, well, Steve was filming all of it, and they didn't need me to film it, so I wasn't playing for a while there. I was wondering what your thoughts on the new Caradon Overlords are. Will you be getting an army? Will you be forcing Lee to paint them for you? As far as it stands right now, I don't have plans to scoop that army up. I think that we're going to see... Hey, and don't quote me on it. I think there's going to be a studio army, and I think Steve has expressed interest in playing them. But I can't really say...
I think everybody did. When the pictures started leaking, everyone was like, "Yeah, I'm buying a new army."
They're super cool.
Yeah.
I'm not in the position to buy myself a new
And I'll say
army.
it: squats are back.
I know. Yeah.
They're squats. I don't care who says what. They're squats.
Yep. I guess I can't fault you on that.
Yep.
They look amazing. They look
they do.
super amazing. I'm really excited with where they're taking Age of Sigmar and the model range for it.
Yeah.
So,
With all the airships and everything, it's like,
well, it's completely far out. So they've when they started changing the names of stuff when they did the Age of Sigmar thing, I said, okay, you know, they're trying to protect their IP,
yeah,
and they're getting away from the kind of Tolkien archetypes that have been well established. And I was really hoping that they weren't just going to be Tolkien archetypes with different names. Because, I mean, that was a concern of mine. But they've started to do some really different, unique stuff. So I'm super duper excited to see what they come out with the next little while.
yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like steampunk, but I like what they did with the new dwarves. It's a nice balance. They're kind of steampunky, but they're still dwarvy.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, I like them.
That being said, if I did get any, I would force Lee to paint them.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're fine. You love it.
Yeah, I do.
It gives you something to grumble and complain about.
Yeah, I do grumble and complain.
I provide an essential service to you.
Yeah, okay. And burgers.
And Burger King.
Gotta make it sound like it's the only thing I eat, which is not true.
Yeah, we eat Subway a bunch too.
Yeah.
But we just walk to Subway, which is nice.
Yeah.
Get outside, blow the stink off, just go to Subway. Alrighty here. Next we got Jerdboy46. I know I've seen this name before too. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't know what it means. Hopefully it doesn't mean anything bad. Alright, hey Josh. I know they are really bad. But would you be willing to play some fluffy AdMech games with Electro Priests? Maybe against a Horde army? Do you even own them? Do you have any Peltists or Hoplites? I have some Peltists and they're my favorite unit in the entire AdMech army. I think they're an interesting unit. Would love to see them played. Okay, when the time is right, I guess I'll bring Electro Priests. I've never really... They're terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
think we have 10 of them, like, painted up.
I think okay, because there's 2 different kinds.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if we have 10 of each or 5 of each. But we don't have a ton of them.
No.
So I don't think it's realistic to bring them in that formation that they've got.
No idea.
But I'll bring them eventually. I mean,
they look really good. It's a shame they're not better.
I don't like them. I hate the look of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
They don't do anything for me. They're
can't force you to be right.
Can't fault you for being wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, when the time is right, with the AdMech army, I've got a playstyle that I like with it. It just yeah. I keep tweaking the list. The last iteration of the list, and keep in mind, guys, when you're watching these games, I probably film them weeks and weeks ahead of time. So when you start making comments, you might see a couple games with the same unit types or whatever else not addressing the comment for a couple weeks. It's not because I'm not paying attention. It's because it's in the past. As far as the Hoplites and Peltists, we don't have any of them. To be honest, the Skitarii that you see me use are basically all of our Skitarii.
Yeah.
We don't have that much, like at all.
Nope.
So, yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing an expansion on the army, but it's not like a top priority thing right now. But I really do like the look of the Peltists and the Hoplites. They're super cool looking models.
I don't know what those are.
Those are the Forge World guys, the Forge World Skitarii guys.
With the shields and stuff?
Yeah, there's the ones with the shields and
okay.
the spears, and then the other guys have like a gun. Yeah, they're pretty cool. But again, I don't know when you're gonna actually see them.
Yeah, especially if it's Forge World, then yeah.
True. A Volp.
Okay.
This might end up being partially a question for you.
Oh.
Hey Josh, how are the Imperial Fists going?
How are they going, Josh?
Pretty good. I lost steam on them to work on some different stuff. I gotta get back around to trying to get them more playable. Since Victory's Vengeance, yeah. I got the stuff ready for Victory's Vengeance, and that's about where I lost steam on it. Because I gotta get some more vehicles and some other stuff.
Yeah, but there's so many games to do. Get distracted, so...
It's tough. So, yeah, right now they're in a state where, I mean, they'd be an okay... No, they're not even an okay allied force. I gotta get some rhinos for them.
Yep.
I gotta get some transports for them. They're getting close to where I want them to be, but they're not playable yet.
I mean, if we really wanted to, we could probably just get them done in a weekend.
Yeah, I gotta have an open weekend. Yeah, lately I've been working almost every Saturday, too. So I haven't had much downtime to work on stuff.
That sounded like a question.
By that I mean downtime to make Lee work on stuff.
What's downtime?
No. That's the time that you work on my stuff.
Oh, okay. And Steve stuff and Quirk stuff.
True. Are we ever going to see them in Horse Heresy Bat Reps? Yeah, they've been in a couple. Not many. They've been in the Victory is Vengeance stuff, as well as 1 or 2 Zorn Mortalises. As far as a fully fledged 2,500 point army, yeah, eventually. I actually had plans to have a bunch of Custodes and run Custodes and Fist together.
Yeah.
But the Custodes ended up going to Quirk as a personal army for him to work on.
But there's going to be a studio army too, so...
Well, Quirk's got personal Custodes stuff, and then there's studio Custodes stuff.
That I'm working on.
Yeah. Which is super cool looking. I wanted them for a personal army, but I couldn't afford the vehicles right now and all that. And I wasn't going to go take out a second mortgage so I could buy a couple of those hover tanks. Yeah. Which army do you think is the most overpowered and strongest? It's still really early to say. I mean, there's a lot of capability for all the different armies. I just played a game with some Beast Claw Raiders, and for me, they fit my playstyle.
Yeah.
They're pretty brutal, but there's such a low model count. I think probably overall...
Is that the one where you made our guest cry?
He didn't cry. He'll be back.
Okay. Bad.
So, right now, I think the most well-rounded army, and probably one of the stronger armies, is the Stormcast Eternal still.
Yeah.
They've got some real amazing capabilities for things they can do. But, I gotta fix my mic. There we go.
Is that better?
Actually, it is a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I'd say that I wouldn't call them overpowered, but I think they're the most well-rounded, the most efficient list right now. And personally, I think Stormcaster Fire Slayers, but I'm curious what you think. Firepower, Firepowers. The Fire Slayers are definitely not one of the stronger armies right now. Definitely not. They're not bad, but I think they're super overcosted. I'd like to see their point cost come down substantially. And then they might be a little bit better. But yeah, not Fire Slayers. They're not the strongest. In my opinion, I guess, though. Maybe I'm just bad with them.
No.
I win sometimes. Alrighty here. 99 Arcturus. With Shadow War out and playing the game, I have 3.5 questions. Okay. See if we can give you 3.5 answers.
Yeah.
You know how guns have short and long ranges and to hit modifiers based on them? Our thoughts. So what do you think, Lee? What do you think about range modifiers for guns?
Like the +1 to hit in short range and stuff?
Yep, or the
like
-1 to hit.
Yeah, I like it. It makes sense.
Yeah, because that goes back to... Okay, so talking about other games that I'm currently interested in, Bolt Action doesn't have it specifically for the specific guns, but there is like a short distance, easier to hit kind of rule.
Yeah.
On each individual gun, that could be a little bit more bookkeeping, but not that much more.
No. And in a skirmish game, I mean, you got like maybe 10 guys, so...
Sorry, but this is transferring to 8th edition for 40k.
Yeah.
So do you think would you want to have range band modifiers in 40k 8th edition?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of the things in from second edition that actually worked.
yeah, I wouldn't mind to see it. I
To
think
hit
it would be good.
modifiers instead of cover saves and stuff. I never liked the cover save system, so.
Yeah, the current cover save system I don't like. Yep, I think it would be good. I don't think it's super as important as some other changes to make, perhaps, but I would welcome that change. Should AP be replaced with Rend? What do you think there?
Basically, Rend as in Age of Sigmar?
Yeah,
like
the
save,
Age of Sigmar
save modifier.
Save modifier system.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
I have said that for years and years and years. I would love if they did that. Again, if you want to see one of the systems I really like and how they do it, go on, get the rules for bolt action. I think the stuff I'm talking about you can get for free as the rules reference download. And look at how they handle different strength weapons and how they handle vehicles and all that. It wouldn't work for 40k because you'd have to get rid of toughness values for everything.
Yeah.
But you'll kind of see where I'm getting at. I think the Ren system is a nice choice that would work well for this system. Wouldn't be perfect, but I would welcome a Ren system as opposed to the straight AP system because, again, it doesn't make sense.
Not really.
I really don't
You
like
either get a save or you don't.
I don't like the AP system. Yeah,
No.
it's all or nothing, and that makes no sense to me.
And the way they did it in Armageddon, I think they went a bit overboard. Because it's like a bolt pistol strength 4, but has -2 armor. But that's supposed to be armor piercing.
Yep.
So it's basically like in Old Fantasy, it's for every point over 3, you get a -1 to your armor. So
Based on the strength of weapon, yeah.
yeah.
And then they can give you additionals. Well, because it's supposed to be strength 4 with for a -1, then they give an additional -1 for being armor piercing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely something, I think, there that they could have a really cool system with.
And it makes Terminators amazing.
As they should be. It makes Terminators feel like Terminators.
Yeah. Walking around with a 3 up on 2d6.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Well, okay, that might not be the ideal one.
That's
But
the way they
if
used to be.
Well, if they do the AP system the right way, sure,
Yeah.
I'd welcome it.
Yeah, the potential
like a
of
Ren
surviving
system.
like a last cannon shot to the head.
Sure. I'm in Terminator armor. Why not?
Yep.
Oh, no, you got plasma. Looks like I'm dead.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Nope.
Get rid of the AP system. Go to a Ren system. If a unit charges, they go first in combat. I think a charging unit should go first in initiative ties and strike at the same time if they have a lower one, but not just first period. Also, do you like multiple wound weapons? Okay, so as far as the combat system, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't mind seeing the initiative thing go away and them using an Age of Sigmar combat system.
Yeah.
Pick a unit to go and have them go.
Yeah, that might actually work.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah.
I think I would
Yeah,
enjoy
just take
that.
initiative out as a factor. Just
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. The more stats, the more clutter. I like the way AOS does it, and the same with multiple wound weapons, multiple damage weapons. Sure. Because I would like to see multiple wound models too.
yeah.
I really like what they've done with Age of Sigmar.
For the combat.
For the combat and for how it all works. I mean, I might have an easy time saying that because I still don't view Age of Sigmar as the replacement to Fantasy.
No, it's a new game.
It's a new game
Yeah.
that filled the void that Fantasy left. And I really like how they did a lot of it. It's fun to play.
I've never tried.
Yeah, you still haven't played yet?
Nope. I'd like to.
Well, eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
Pay my models and we'll play a game. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty. Over to the next question. This is from Edo409. After playing many tournaments here in Australia, something really cool some gamers have come up with as a new avenue to cover is to have a new content producer who covers tournaments. And all the work going into new lists for the next tournament, tacticas and all that. This could include bat reps at tournaments, etc. Thoughts? Okay. Before I lay into this one, do you have any opinions on that?
Not really. I mean, I don't see it as a viable option because, I mean, we don't have any tournaments.
Right, we don't hold tournaments here.
Yeah.
There's local places that hold tournaments. So here's the multitude of reasons for me why it wouldn't work. Number one, if we were to go to a tournament, to say everybody at the tournament, I'm recording a game, so I need quiet at certain times, or
Yeah, and what's your language and
all that stuff wouldn't
put that
work.
beer under the table and whatever.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And like, oh no, like I'm gonna interrupt your play to go to narrate whatever,
Yeah.
do whatever. To film them like we currently film them just wouldn't work. It would disrupt the tournament a whole lot. It wouldn't produce good content.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the way that Warhammer TV covers it, because, I mean, we were lucky enough, the guys that went to Adepticon met those guys, and I was able to watch how they do some of it. They've got a pretty decent-sized team of guys
Yeah.
doing one battle report.
Yeah.
And it's kind of off in the corner. So I think they got a team of like 8 guys filming it. It's a lot of work, because what they do is they'll film it, and they've got the 2 guys actually talking about what's going on in the game,
Yeah.
doing the kind of sportscaster thing.
Yeah.
But then they've also got somebody there at the table typing what major things are happening. And it's just, you know what? It's one of those ones where it's a cool concept. It doesn't work for us, so as cool as it would be, the amount of time and resources that
Yeah,
would
the
go
way-
into
the way
producing
they cover
one
it-
single game.
The way they cover it, it's more like a football match.
Yep.
We got loads of cameras and someone like commentating.
Yeah, they got
stuff.
multiple cameras, and they got multiple guys working the cameras, and guy on the computer keeping track of everything. Cool system. It's not really for us, in my opinion. Who knows? Maybe Matt
No.
thinks differently than me. But yeah, the other thing too is we're not an overly competitive bunch of guys. I don't think any of us are real tournament players. There's less of an interest in it here. So, would be a cool idea.
I think some of us are competitive in a different way, though.
Well, yeah, not like tournament competitive
No.
though. Like you still like to win, but not in a tournament competition kind of scene.
Yeah.
Alrighty here. So, let's get on to the next question. That's for Matt. That's a long one, so we'll come back. Here's one, okay. Gimp Nax. Josh and Lee. Last week, Matt talked about starting doing food reviews on the site.
Who?
Food.
Who talked about this? Matthew?
Apparently. Would you rather have a newbie hired for the job, or do you like the responsibility to follow the current content producers? If it is a current content producer, who would you choose? Would you have all the content producers, or sorry, would you have all the producers do it and just choose different cuisines? I need to go back and watch Matt sit and talk. What's he talking about? With food reviews. We need to do more book reviews.
Interior decorating reviews.
To be perfectly honest, I don't think anybody here, and this might be my opinion, what kind of food would we review? There's nobody here with a really good palate.
Not really. We're all pretty picky.
We're all pretty picky, but I mean, like, none of us are really experts on dining. Bunch of fat guys.
Yeah. Like, what?
I don't know. It could be interesting.
Still don't know what that has to do with wargaming, though.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't have anything to do with it, I don't think.
It would be funny, like, as a one-off thing, but I don't
There's
know.
a lot of stuff that'd be funny as a one-off thing.
That is true.
To be honest, I guess my opinion on it is that there's people out there that are probably doing a much better. There are people doing a better job in food reviews.
You think?
I can't remember his channel, but there's some Canadian dude that just reviews fast food, but he's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah. I've never gotten the whole, like, food show concept.
What do you mean?
I don't know. There's so much more to food than just looking at it. I mean, it's the smell, the texture and stuff. And you're watching it. It's kind of like going to an art gallery, but it's described on the radio.
Oh, yeah, okay, to watch a show on it?
Yeah, it's like Okay. You gotta, because I know how food adverts are made.
Okay.
So it might look good, but it'll kill you.
It's true.
But yeah.
They say the same thing about me.
He won't kill anybody.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's entertaining food shows. Do you ever watch the Food Network?
No.
Oh, you should. There's funny shows. Oh, with the Alton. Okay, so Alton Brown's got a show, and it's one of these like cooking competition shows. I can't remember. I can never remember the name of it. But basically, the way it works is, as they're cooking whatever food challenge, everybody gets $25,000, and that's what they win if they win. But then there are things that they can buy to mess with their opponents.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
I don't get it.
You would enjoy the show if you watched it. All right, guys, that is it for this video. We're going to go ahead and jump in the vault to do the rest of these. So click on the link below, take you to the vault. If you are a vault member, if you're not a vault member, click on the link anyways, take you to a 7-day free trial. You can check out the rest of this video and everything else we have in the vault. So that's twice as many bat reps as well as a ton of other content we do in there. So check it out, guys. Remember that next week it is Beverly himself doing the answering of questions. So if you want
That doesn't sound right. Beverly himself?
Beverly himself. So if you want to leave a question for the artist formerly known as Beverly, go ahead and...
The artist formerly known as Quirk.
Either or.
Ah!
No, the artist formerly known as Beverly, I think we get under his skin a little bit
Bevs.
more. The Bevs. Whatever you want to call them, put it in the comments of this video.
He's going to ask to be moved. I don't want to be after those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody else will want to be after us. Yeah, guys, give them some questions. Other than that, if you want anything extra for, like, if you want to get a hold of Lee and I about anything that we talked about here, shoot us an email, josh@miniwargaming.com, lee@miniwargaming.com, and we'll do our best to get back to you in a timely fashion. Thanks so much for tuning in, and see you guys in the vault.